I'm sure a lot of you are expecting me to start this video by talking about how terrible live service games are for consumers and the microtransactions are predatory sales practices, but no, actually, I'm not going to do that. Are they capable of being these things? Yeah, absolutely. But when I look at my games library, most of the time now is spent on live service games, and that's fairly surprising when you look at my list of all-time favorites. Now, there's definitely a stereotype and a certain ick that comes to mind when you hear the term live service, but today I'm actually rushing to their defense. The good ones anyway, not the other ones.
Вот это все делать.
А надо? Я не думаю, что ты видишь.
Because this, my friends, is how you make a good live service game. But first, you should consider subscribing to another live service, our channel. No microtransactions, no battle pass, just somewhat watchable content on a somewhat regular schedule. We should make that our slogan, actually. So let's start by taking a look at one of the most iconic live service games around, Fortnite. Fortnite gets thrown around as cringe Zoomer content by a lot of sophisticated gamers.
What the fuck? My God!
This game is fucking fun, man, I don't know. Like, if you can't enjoy a game where Raiden from Metal Gear Rising is available to buy as a playable character at the same time as the giant chicken from Family Guy is, then I don't know what to tell you.
Come here, Alan Wake. I will provide you with sustenance. Let's go and fight a god, Alan Wake. Fucking come get some, Zeus.
Fortnite to me is like when you was a kid and you would just grab like a Spider-Man and a Transformer and an Action Man or whatever and have them go on some batshit adventure in your bedroom where they beat up Darth Vader. Like, it's a game that allows those stupid crossovers that were only ever possible in your head, and that's incredible. But even beyond its dedication to absolutely batshit crossover content, Fortnite offers incredible value for money as a live service product, and is honestly probably still the best one on the market in that sense specifically. And today I'm going to be comparing it with one of the worst live service games available, Overwatch 2. And for a quick disclaimer, I play a lot of Overwatch 2, way more than Fortnite actually. This isn't another Overwatch 2 bad video, but rather a critique on the game's transition to free-to-play, and the result is had on my willingness to invest in the game. First off, Fortnite is a game that can be accessed in its entirety for free. Every player is an equal abilitied avatar, and so there's no heroes or classes locked behind paywalls. Every single game mode, creator made or otherwise, is completely free, including the new LEGO-themed crafting survival game, Rocket Racing, and Festival mode, a rhythm game. And Overwatch 2 mostly mimics that model, to be fair to it. There is of course classes, and with that heroes to unlock, and sure, you might get certain heroes earlier if you buy the battle pass here and there, but from what I've seen they do fairly quickly end up being earnable through hero challenges even after the battle pass ends, although unlocking them is a lengthy time sink. It should also be noted that this wasn't always the case. You did originally have to pay for new heroes if you missed them in the battle pass. Anyway, what's more important is the stuff that does cost money. Fortnite's gotten a little more ballsy with this lately, but to Epic's credit, they did immediately adjust prices when people started calling them out and making it known they wasn't happy on the whole. But in general, Fortnite's microtransactions are just super reasonable in my opinion. The Battle Pass is easily one of the best I've seen in gaming to this day. There's a very minor amount of filler. It's a pretty good balance of skins, styles, trails, backblings, gliders, and emotes, which, let's be real, are the only things here worth caring about. Nobody's getting excited over stickers. And beyond that, you also amass V-Bucks as you progress through the levels, meaning if you were to play far enough into it, you actually earn enough to buy next season's pass as well. In theory, this means you only ever have to pay for one battle pass in order to access every future pass free of charge. It's a really nice way to reward players who are willing to sink enough time into the game, and will absolutely make them feel like they're appreciated as a customer because they are quite literally being given free money for playing. Not only that, but a lot of these battle passes are pretty solid. They usually jam in a few collab skins to make these extra worth it, like Spider-Man, Solid Snake, Peter Griffin, Doomslayer, and Geralt. Compare this now to the Overwatch battle pass. I fucking hate this thing, straight up. I was someone who was actually pretty optimistic about Overwatch going free to play, if it meant more consistent skins and fun events or updates as opposed to the loot box system in Overwatch 1, but they executed this in probably the worst way they could. See, unlike Fortnite, Overwatch does of course have individual heroes with unique skins that can only be used on them, and this creates a problem. I have played this game at least once per season. I have seen every battle pass at least once, and I couldn't recall a single one I thought was actually worth having for me personally, because very few of them were for heroes I played. And the ones that were didn't really hit for me. This isn't helped by the fact that the game stuffs its battle passes with voice lines, sprays, artifacts, player icons and banners, all things with like super minimal impact that I'm certainly not buying an entire battle pass for. Even emotes are less enticing in this game because there's way less downtime than a battle royale like Fortnite, and you can't cancel out of them if you really need to start fighting again. I genuinely don't know who buys these, unless you really want the mythic for this season and are willing to grind a lot for it. They're really ever worth it. Like, I kind of thought with a free-to-play model where players constantly pay for new passes, we'd get more unique skins more frequently, but no, there's still only a few of those per season, and then the rest are glorified recolors. Plus, unlike Fortnite, you don't earn proper credits here, just lesser credits that only let you buy old Overwatch skins. And that actually brings me around to the stores. Fortnite's premium skins are some of the best valued skins in live service gaming for the simple fact that a lot of them are skins you'll actually want. Dragon Ball, Ninja Turtles, Batman, the Avengers, Dune, Star Wars, Street Fighter, God of War, Halo, Horizon, Assassin's Creed, The Walking Dead, Robocop, fucking Family Guy, Ariana Grande, The Weeknd, Eminem. The sheer amount of IP in this game is staggering and a tiny bit concerning, but good lord if it doesn't make the price tag totally worth it on these things. Overwatch 2 store on the other hand is a complete joke. It's on average around $20 for one skin, and Fortnite skins can be as low as $6 sometimes, and universally usable as well. They're not just limited to a specific hero in a specific class. Not only that, but Overwatch has rarely ever opened itself to collabs, meaning that they can't capitalize on IPs I like to get me to buy, and better really hope their skins are fucking perfect, which usually they're not. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the loot box system was way better for this game. Overwatch 1 was kind enough to give you a free loot box every time you leveled up, and that meant you were guaranteed 4 new cosmetics every level. Leveling up takes way longer now, and only nets you 1 cosmetic every time if you bought the battle pass. Not to mention all the insanely fun hype around seasonal events and grinding to get as many Halloween loot boxes as you could for that one cool skin you wanted is a thing of the past now. Seasonal events are a couple of challenges at most that might get you an okay skin if you're lucky, but sometimes they don't even give you that. It's really sad. The big difference here is that Fortnite asks for a little and gives a lot. Maybe they're not making as much buck per skin or battle pass as Overwatch is, but at least they're getting something out of me, which Overwatch isn't. But anyway, that's the monetary side of live service, and that's absolutely an important factor and something worth talking about. But I think something that gets overlooked is just how important it is that the live service element, makes sense. Everyone loves the Avengers. No, not that one, this one. What's that? They don't? Oh, well, there's a good reason for that. Live service. Whether you played it or not, you likely know the stink storm this game cooked up when it released towards the end of the last generation of consoles, and for pretty good reasons, honestly. Because yes, Avengers was a live service game. I say was because that service is now dead. Well, not entirely. You can still play it, but it's not for sale anymore, and it isn't being updated any further. Now, for those of you who never played it, you might be wondering what was so terrible about this game. Well, as someone who actually did put close to 100 hours into this thing, I can tell you that the worst thing about it is that it's actually pretty good. And before you run to the comment section to tell me that I'm wrong, let me explain. The story this game tells about a scattered team of Avengers trying to rebuild and move past an event that destroyed their credibility, made them public enemies, and led to a New York City completely under AIM's control is honestly super unique and a great framing device to assemble the Avengers. We get to see these characters in situations we don't often get to, struggling with public rejection and really at their lowest points. The combat's pretty good too. Something that becomes clear if you were someone who farmed the daily combat challenges is that you can pull off some really cool combos and surprisingly complex maneuvers using the robust skill trees worth of abilities that each hero has. And the way every hero follows the same basic set of rules but with their own movement options and gimmicks makes switching between them a total breeze. No, the Avengers suffers because it's live service. It didn't need to be live service. It doesn't make sense for it to be live service. The one opinion I see on this game that most tend to agree on is that the story missions were pretty great. And that's because they're linear, they're cinematic, they have unique set pieces. It's like playing an Avengers movie, and that's all most people wanted. But no, the live service element introduces a really unnecessary gear system that just adds nothing to the game, and a mission structure that means every mission is you dropping into the same 4 or 5 locations, scouting around for one of the same 4 or 5 objectives that are repeated constantly, and finishing them for more gear and XP. It is an endless grind for gear that does not matter or even look cool because it's all just stat based. Your actual appearance is determined by skin, so it really is just watching numbers go up. It's boring, plain and simple. You have this great set of characters that feel fun to control, but stick them in a world with nothing to do. And having this gameplay loop just resulted in a painfully undercooked experience that could have been so much more if they hadn't forced a live service element into a game that didn't need one. So, when does a live service game make sense? How do you create a game where live service feels like it's such a big part of its identity that not having it would actually hurt the game? With democracy, of course.
Spread managed democracy throughout the galaxy. Become a hero. Become a legend. Become a Helldiver.
If you've been on the internet in the past month, you've probably seen Helldivers 2, the game where you squad up with friends to liberate a number of planets from evil automatons and terminids, 2 fractions that are a huge threat to democracy and definitely not something you should look closer into at all. The crux of the game is simple. You dive into an open zone area with friends, clear out the same repeatable objectives to earn points and medals that let you level up and get new gear, so you can do it all again. Now, that sounds pretty similar to Avengers, right? And on paper it is, but with a few differences. For one, the stuff you work for actually impacts your gameplay here. You can use requisition slips to buy new stratagems, which are incredibly varied and change up your playstyle a lot. You can be a turret builder, go for big carpet bombs, or use them to call in unique weapons. Samples will give you meaningful passive buffs and ship upgrade, and medals will grant you a ton of cosmetics, emotes, weapon types, and even some useful bonus buffs. So immediately the grind actually feels meaningful, but beyond this, the live service element feeds so well into this game's world. See, this intergalactic war they keep talking about, that isn't just a story, it's happening in real time, and every mission you complete contributes towards liberating different planets and sectors. There's even an actual employee whose job it is to mess with this war table and give the enemy factions more power and backup. I mean, this is a live service that really does feel alive. You're all part of one big team, one huge community effort to liberate these planets, and that feels so meaningful. I've seen so many people playing along with the bit on social media, pretending to be loyal Helldivers and shutting down talk of treason or congratulating fellow soldiers. Without the live service element, this game would have none of this charm and sense of unity. We wouldn't have any of these memes or interactions. It would be just another firefight game. Helldivers is the definition of live service games that need to be live service. It does nothing but add to the experience and enhance what's already a captivating world. It's honestly one of the most fun and least toxic communities I've ever seen, and that's great to see. Anyway, let me know in the comments what some of your favourite live service games are, or maybe one that you think needs some work. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Who running the game now? Foot on the gas, can slow down. No, my team, we holding it down. We know we running it now. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change.